Supposedly it's haunted by a woman in a red dress who's asking for help.
They're peeping out from just about every corner of the kitchen.
Oklahoma is one of 6 states where landlords can legally retaliate against tenants.
The apartment was filthy. It looked like in the washing machine they had been making mud pies. So I opened the doorbell, and here comes Mr. AJ and Miss Brittany tiptoeing. I said, "What are you all doing? Why didn't you ring the doorbell?"
The apartment complex has written up Miss Wright for keeping a dirty bedroom, leaving laundry detergent in the washing machine, even having too many dirty dishes, none of which are violations according to her leasing agreement. The gruesome discovery of 11 bodies took the world by storm in 1873. The cold-blooded, murderous family seemingly vanished into thin air.
It's been a cold case for 150 years.
The Benders utilized the back of the home as their living space and turned the front into a shop and inn for travelers of the trail. Based on evidence collected at the scene, local authorities believe the Benders invited the victims to dinner and sat them with the back of their head against the cloth that separated the 2 rooms. While the victim ate what would be their last meal, one of the Benders would stand behind the cloth and strike the guest in the head with a hammer. When they fell to the ground, the Benders would then slit their throat before dropping them through the trap door into the cellar.
My name's Gary.
I'm Gail.
And we love ballroom dancing.
And 1, 2, 3.
That they were going to put me out.
One bill would increase the dispensary licensing fee from $2,500 to $10,000 initially and annually.
That our hero and Peyton's dad will be remembered during our time on Earth and in future generations to come,
including Robert's 11-year-old daughter, Peyton. 6 months into the conflict in the Middle East, desperation to get out of Gaza is growing.
I need your help, and if I want to help me to leave Gaza as soon as possible.
That's the voice of Hiba Ahmad Medhoun, seen here with her family. The innocence of her 5 children eroding through the loss of their home and injury. The family of 7 cramming into this tent in Rafah, the southernmost city in Gaza, since the middle of October.
Now we live in this tent, as you see. You know, to live in a tent means to live without life. There's no good water, or there's no good or healthy food.
There's nothing like losing a child. Nothing.
Every day Maureen Bucheri gets up is a victory.
Every day. Every day.
She's still learning how to live without her 46-year-old son, Stephen Bernius.
It's just heart-wrenching.
In September of 2021, Bernius was killed at his Broken Arrow home while evicting 21-year-old Cody William O'Brien. Bernius tried filing a protective order against O'Brien. A Tulsa County judge ruled the request did not meet the statute.
I would never take my freedom for granted.
April Wilkins has had more than a quarter-century behind bars to think about life outside of these walls. Is incarcerated for killing her ex-fiancé Terry Carlton after she says he raped, handcuffed, and threatened to kill her.
As many of you are aware, we have made some police calls here in the past.
The Oklahoma Survivors Act being introduced this session by Senate Pro Tem Greg Treat would allow the courts to impose lower sentences if abuse is proven to be a significant factor in their offense.
But this bill's very tight in the fact that there has to be documented contemporaneous accounts of the abuse in order for the courts to take that into consideration.
We are mothers and we're daughters. I myself am a grandmother, and we're human beings, you know. We're not numbers. We're not property in the state of Oklahoma.
I loved at first sight.
Jerry and Jesse Edwards adopted the baby and named her Christy.
I fell in love with her the first time I saw her. She was the cutest little bundle of. She had a little white dress on first time I think of her. She was just the cutest little thing I'd ever seen.
They had great faith when a doctor gave them no hope.
He said she would be profoundly retarded. He said she would never walk, she would never talk, and Christy did everything that he said she wouldn't do.
We've heard it again and again. It was my guardian angel who saved me. There's no scientific way to prove whether those invisible protectors are real or imagined, but there are many true believers who have no doubts.
How do we even know that angels and guardian angels exist? It's all over the Bible.
Everyone who crosses paths with Peyton Crum can see just how special she is. But what you and I take for granted every day is something Peyton has only dreamed of. To see her reflection in the mirror, a bird outside of her window, the smiles she brings to others. Peyton was born with optical nerve hypoplasia. She's legally blind, and for most of her life, she's struggled to see what's right in front of her. 20 feet ahead looks more like 200 feet in her left eye. In her right eye, 2,000 feet. But not anymore.
Now that I have my electronic ones, they work really perfect on me seeing my book.
Thanks to these $10,000 electronic glasses called eSight. The high-definition camera fits on top of her glasses and displays everything in her view on 2 screens.
When you turn it on, you see eSight, and then it gets bigger and bigger, and then it just goes onto the screen, and you can see everything that's around you.
Like the strings on her mandolin, Peyton sure is glad she can now see what she was missing.
I think they were awesome.
200 years worth of reasons and an unknown amount of money tribal leaders say the feds owe them.
There was strip mining that happened right over our tribal lands through here. That's the kind of thing we're asking for an accounting for.
The Treaty of New Echota, better known as the Trail of Tears, forced the Cherokees out of the southeastern United States and relocated them here.
Cattle farming turns into a sprint when they come of age. Thanks to a fire at a beef processing facility in Kansas in 2019, the country was wading into the pandemic with one arm tied behind its back, and then things got worse.
Over the past 20 years, Bill and Bob have been intensely involved in the Alzheimer's Association, raising both awareness and funds.
The autumnal equinox triggered when direct sunlight lines up with our equator. It's the beginning of shorter days, longer nights, and for some, an insatiable desire for anything pumpkin spiced. As daylight shortens, chlorophyll that has hidden the beautiful fall color begins to wane, and trees explode with color and become a tourist opportunity.
And satisfy their taste buds at the same time.
So I downloaded all the liquor laws and then just spent some exciting days just reading through them. It's like buying a prepaid credit card that you redeem at the store. But for the person buying on Bevio, it just feels like you're buying the wine or buying the beer.
Some researchers argue the T-Rex was a giant vulture, a big slow-moving scavenger, but Dr. Holly doesn't necessarily agree. The animal has 10-foot legs and a 15-foot stride, so it wouldn't have to take many steps to grab something to eat. They're even more interesting as you really get to know them.
And it's just this huge overgrown chicken, basically.
The place you spend the most time surrounded by the most people exposed to the most stray germs is at work. You're touching phones and keyboards and coffee pots, all kinds of things where germs and viruses may be waiting to make you sick. And what better workplace to put under the microscope than our building, the Channel 8 Studios on Lookout Mountain. In all, the TU team left with more than 20 samples ready to spend a week growing cultures and testing what they found. Prepared to give us a report card on all the nasty little invisible things growing around us. On our newsroom door, specifically on the button that we all push to come and go there. What did the experts find lurking there? E. coli, and you know what that is.
And here's a fun fact. In the beginning, it took 27 hours to create just one Peeps chick. Fast forward 66 years, and now it takes just 6 minutes. So I don't want to hear another peep about it.